both General Blanche and Secretary Rollins have alluded to this 85% control. I'll give you the nerd view as an economist who was in antitrust for a while. There's this thing that the four firms is a magic number. It's the four-firm concentration ratio that's been enshrined in Justice Department doctrine for decades. And it basically says when you approach even something like 60%, you invite collusion, either explicit or tacit. And that's not only the problem we have here, it's that half of the four are Brazilian. Half of the four are Brazilian. And in my tariff world, I remember vividly just recently when the president put tariffs on Brazil because of actions they were taking which were harmful to the American people. What happened? The beef lobby, represented by the Brazilians, quietly threatened the White House. And we saw beef that should otherwise be on the counters sold in American grocery stores going where? China. So it's not just price gouging and price fixing we have to worry about. It's also the influence of foreigners on our supply chain and the national security issues that are associated with that. We cannot tolerate that.
Okay, the press conference today ended wildly, but I think Marco did a solid job of walking through a number of things. Number one, I don't think it quite hit upon me that Epic Fury was over, right? I think they said, I thought the letter was saying that it was temporarily suspended and because it didn't have to count. And now I realize what they were talking about this morning is the naval operation is not just a separate operation, that is the operation. So I don't know what the Israelis think about the fact that the main target of Iran appears, of course, in Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Rubio said it twice. We'll get back to that. Neil McCabe's at the White House. He was there today. We'll get to Neil in a moment. We're pretty packed this afternoon for the next 2 hours. Dr. Peter Navarro joins us. Here's what I can't understand about this, what you guys are doing on this beef situation. Because I'm hearing from people in the United States that actually have beef that are cattle, and they hate the fact that we're bringing Brazilian beef. Is the concept here that you're trying to break this cartel so we can bring more Brazilian beef into the United States, sir?
No. The Brazilian angle, Steve, is simply that the Brazilians own U.S. processing capacity, full stop. Four firms, Tyson Cargill, JBS, which is one of the worst Brazilian actors, and a company called National Beef, which is actually Brazilian as well. So JBS, National Beef, have come in and bought up our processing capability here in the U.S. on U.S. soil. You know, what they do is according to information, they collude with the others on price. But then when it comes to things like I mentioned in the cold open, pressuring the United States government on behalf of the Brazilian government, they do things like ship beef here that would otherwise to China that would otherwise be here. So this is not. Don't conflate these two issues. We're talking about Brazilian companies that have taken over U.S. processing on U.S. soil, and they're going to be investigated. And divestiture, Steve, is on the table.
Hang on. How did that pass? Was it CFIUS or wherever the national security checks and balances are? How did these two get? And what percentage? You've got four, but Cargill and Tyson's are huge. What percentage of the market did the JBS and National Beef, the true Brazilian entities, what percentage of the marketplace do they control?
Close to half. and Steve, memo to the Admiral, okay? China bought Smithfield Foods and
trust me,
basically owns our pork supply chain here on U.S. soil, okay? So CFIUS is like, I used to joke, it's like a Greek name for an STD. I mean, it's like it does nothing, okay? On our watch, we're much more vigilant, but it's run out of Treasury, and historically Treasury, has been like a hooker at a brothel, like all comers. So that's been the problem. We've given away so much of our economic capacity that it's become a national security issue. And that's where the Trump administration is different. That's where this Department of Justice has an antitrust department, which actually has both some teeth in it and some cojones. And what we did yesterday at that press conference, I mean, Todd Blanche was magnificent, as was Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture. And we're moving forward. I tell you, Steve, tomorrow there was supposed to be a trial in Minnesota. Okay, and I'm going to channel you back to your Harvard Business School days. Okay, and imagine sitting in
Can you hang on for 1 second? We just want to hold you through a break.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
The rent is too damn high, and the food prices are too damn high, and the beef is particularly too damn high. Peter Navarro, our trade czar, helping President Trump with the tariffs and Liberation Day and all the good that's come out of that, is with us. So talk to me. What are you going to do? Are you going to break up JBS and Asher? Are you going to force the Brazilians to sell them? Because JBS, that scumbag, is the leading financier of the Marxist Lula, sir.
And it's also one of the big banks for the K Street lobbyists who come around and lobby for things like let JBS buy up all our processing, and they get they get a tremendous rate of return. I want to tell you about this case. Tomorrow was supposed to be the trial of a company called AgriStats. It's straight out of the Harvard Business School class that you probably skipped. And what they do is they use their sophisticated mathematical models to receive data from individual actors in the processing matrix. Think about that. Individual actors. And then they process the data themselves and spit back, allegedly, the monopoly prices that should be charged in the market. You cannot make that up.
Wow.
Now, the toughness of Todd Blanche's antitrust department has persuaded them to settle. So there should be a settlement announced tomorrow, and if not, we're going to trial. But that settlement will not only solve that problem, it should also reveal some of the bad practices of the various actors in the four-firm cartel. So it's a classic, get somebody to turn, right? You get them to turn state's witnesses. So this is a big deal. It's the kind of thing we're doing. And Steve, look, in the Trump White House, we are acting as aggressively as we can across all points of that inflation compass. The food issue is hard. The beef issue is the hardest because it's a global problem in terms of supply and demand because of things like drought and this, that, and the other thing. But the things we can control, we will control. And we will control and can control price fixing in that market. So what we need to do is break up the Brazilians, the divestitures on the table, and basically decentralize some of this processing. Brooke Rollins is working on that, so you develop local processing capability at the micro level and disperse some of that power. And it's the kind of thing we're doing. We're doing it chicken and pork and all we've got whole seafood initiatives, this, that, and the other thing, and then dealing with the housing inflation. The data has been moving well in our favor. And I had another column in Real Clear Markets today about the trade data that just came out that shows how we are, under Trump policies, rapidly reindustrializing. You know, the tariffs are working, the tax breaks for building factories in America are working, the deregulation's working, and Trump's working. So, you know, we got a lot on our plate, but that's what we do.
CRA, you know, where Russ Vogt founded, the team over there that he left behind is absolutely extraordinary. So Wade Miller is going to be
doing a fantastic job, Steve. Just so you know, go ahead.
Oh, no, he's at OMB, just amazing, and the team he brought. But the guys he left behind have been working on something I will get to. Wade is going to be on at 6:30 this evening on War Room to walk through analysis they've done in an action plan. It turns out, and their analysis, and I'll get this to you, Dr. Navarro, it costs, for a family of 4 in the United States, it costs about $105,000 to participate in society, you know, for healthcare and mortgage and energy and, you know, transportation, et cetera. This is without any frills. This is kind of basics, right? They have a program of 63 action items in those 5 big categories, you know, rent and mortgages, healthcare, that takes that down to $41,000. It basically and they call on the left to really talk about affordability, because everything the left wants to talk about is another government program. Anyway, I will share that with you, but the audience, the people should know that we're very focused on this.
Lists like that, because I mean, I've seen lists come and go from my office, and within 48 hours, when we get them done. So we move in Trump time, Steve.
You move in Trump time. Dr. Peter Navarro, where do people go for your content? So you're putting up these videos every day. You're writing these columns for Washington Times, Washington Examiner, and, of course, putting it up on Real Clear Politics. Where do folks go to get it all?
PeterNavarro.com. That'll take you to the X, Truth Social, and Getter social media, as well as Instagram. We do the 60-second videos. Regular column now in Real Clear Markets whenever big data reports come out. There's the Substack, but you can find all of this. Yeah. And look, what we do is we take issues, as the War Room does, down to the simplest possible level without losing the complexity.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. John Tamney, the editor of Real Clear Markets. Fantastic. He's putting you up. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you and your hard work. Dr. Peter Navarro over at the White House.